Welcome to part 1 of this Penguins Transparent Watercolor tutorial. Today I'm painting the parents with their little chick in between them, as is often the case, to help protect them and keep them warm and then feeding them. And they have a cute little face with a little mask-like appearance. And I'm going to be using, for this part of the painting, in part 1, number 4 Pro Arte Connoisseur 100 series brush, which I'm using now. And for much finer detail, really small, either a number 1 or a number 0, Utrecht Sable 228 series. You will see linkages for accessing purchases of these materials, including the paints, which I'm mainly today using a Windsor Blue, Scarlet Lake and Light Red. You can, for the dark black colour, use French Ultra and Light Red. Or you can have a mixture of Windsor Blue, French Ultra, Light Red, Scarlet Lake, etc. Just mix those, experiment and see which one works for you. You will find that different mixtures result in different hues, and you may wish to achieve a certain effect. So the little chick is being drawn, and as I say, they stay very close to their parents to keep warm and to be protected and be fed. And these are emperor penguins. They do have some differences compared to the king penguins. They are larger. They have a different, slightly different coloration. On the head, you'll see orange marks, although there are orange marks on the king penguin too, but no, they are distinctly different in their shape. And the mother of these little penguins would normally have a gestation period of about 62 to 66 days, which is longer than some other penguins. Now, I'm drawing in some of the orange to yellow type markings on the beak and the head, and I'll put the mixture of Aurelian and Scarlet Lake on first, then I'll dip my brush in water and just fuse that in like I've done. Now going to the black, you will see that I build this up with lots and lots of wet and wet washes until I've achieved the final effect that I'm aiming for. It will be important at a later stage to make sure I get the lightness on the flippers compared to the rest of the body, and that's why I'm painting around the flippers at the moment. You can, when you're painting, of course, flip the paper here and there to get better access to the parts that you're painting, but because this is a tutorial, I'm practicing to be a Houdini here. I'm keeping the paper in one place the whole time and moving my hand around to angles that I wouldn't normally do when painting. So, but I think it's going to work out. So continuing with the dark colour that mentioned, emphasizing the outline there of the flipper, and then coming down with a watered down wash of your dark colour. And don't worry about some of the creep back here and there and things like this at this stage, because this is still going to get plenty of washes. So, continuing with the dark colour, just making sure I've got shapes correct, such as on the flippers. And as we progress with this part of the painting, you'll see that I ensure a proper demarcation of the shapes, such as the back of the penguin compared to where the flipper is, etc., and coming down to the base of the penguin. So these penguins are often touching heads together, as is in the case here. So I'm just at that stage drawing the head of the first one, and as much as possible I'm missing on the beak that light orange colour, but I can come back to it and emphasize it even more a little bit later. I can do a little bit of lifting, which I've shown you before, but I'll show you again at different stages. Now I'm using, for shading and little bits of coloration, the dark mixture very much watered down, just as I did on the little chick. So still using the number 4 brush. Just do wet in wet, fuse that in so you get the right variation that you're aiming for. And here and there, as I'm doing now, you may wish to emphasize certain coloration parts. There is a tiny little bit of the orangey yellow colour on parts of the other parts of the body too. Now here, using a little bit of lifting with a tissue, so that I can dispense with where there's maybe too much water, and then go into the darker coloration. Now I'm going to a much smaller brush, and I'm doing a little bit of lifting where there's that light orange part on the beak, and then coming back in with the dark colour onto the head and the face. The good thing about this paper that I like to use, the Arche Aquarelle paper, made in France, same factory since 1492, is £300 weight rough, and it will take lots of washes. It's robust, you don't have to stretch it, and you will find that it will take some degree of either erasing, as long as you use a soft eraser, or lots of lifting here and there if need be. So you can see now that I've emphasized the flipper on this one on the left, and I've just been putting in some detail. The little one, they often seem bedraggled and lots of fur sticking out here and there, and dark colours, light colours, and so forth. I will eventually be putting in their feet, and the other penguin, paying careful attention to the lines, making sure that they have a good demarcation. Same dark colour mix, getting onto the flipper of this one and having watered down the colour. Once again, still using a number 4, carefully coming around certain detail on the face. And this penguin, the head is tilted slightly different as well, so that will appear to show different shapes on the markings, but it's because of the angle of the penguin and the size. Now this tutorial, as I say, is part 1 of the Emperor penguins. In part 2 you'll see the rest of the painting all the snow and the icebergs, a nice sky colour that you'll see how to do that wash, and you'll also see me painting the line of penguins that you can just see in the picture on the right now, jumping in the water, going to catch some fish. I would say at this stage, please comment below with ideas for future tutorials you would like to see on this channel, and we will see which ones we can make happen. So once again, following the same pattern as before with respect to the first penguin. So using the lightened mixture of the dark for the shadow areas, but then going back in now for detail on this penguin with much darker mixture, being careful to go around the shapes of the flippers. As you can see, for this painting it is very much a building up of lots of different washes at different intensities to achieve the final result that you're looking for. And here and there's been a little bit of lifting so that I can make various changes as necessary. A little bit of lifting there. And then I'll go over that again to achieve the final result. And thanks for watching this week's tutorial. We post every week, so make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss future videos. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I know that you will find it very enjoyable when we show the second part of this tutorial to complete the whole painting, which I think is quite impactful. Thanks again. Bye for now.